So, Open Book by Christiania and Alyssa. Next slide. So, what is it all about? The socialistic chosen was to focus on the education system, mainly for math. And our past experience with this was because some of our teachers have either taught us competently or poorly, using the curriculum given. Through research, we discovered that 15% of parents complained about having a poor, outdated curriculum, and 12% believe that the U.S. was outranked by around 10 countries. So the solution presented may help benefit and may help provide a safer and stronger environment for them. An example of how this might change the future is, as you can see in the picture, this young woman here who says, a doctor decided to use a needle rather than going to get a new needle for her and use a different medication. Line that she was paralyzed with the legs down. That's where we found her. Next slide.
We believe the school should have a more qualified system. I think of the education system as the circle of life. In the great words of Simba from The Lion King, when we die, our bodies become the grass, and the antelope eat the grass. And so we are all connected to the circle of life. If you think about it, the teachers kind of represent like leading the path to the next generation. And I thought of the generation as the antelope, which feeds off the teaching of the grass. And so if the curriculum is checked before they are taught, we will develop more than we have, and the whole world would develop as well. Next slide.
So why do we choose this topic? Part of this was because of my past experience with it. I had a teacher who barely taught us anything, but by the end of the year, we had just now finished the curriculum given to us. Whereas when we looked at the other classes, they had already started the 8th grade curriculum, or some of them would already be on the first lesson of the 8th grade curriculum. Alyssa's motive was that
My friend, she was in Chinese immersion, right? And she had her teacher who didn't care about any of them, what they were doing, and as long as they stayed quiet, he would just like let them be. Next slide.
So, according to newsgallups.com, we found that there's an 11% parents are saying that there's failure in teaching the basics. An example of this provided is that I had a very good friend of mine. She was unable to do simple math, such as multiplication, 2 times 2, 4 times 4, and so henceforth. So adding to this, we found another site that took it from the student's perspective and found that only 50% of the students found what they were learning at school relevant. They found that also, as the grade levels go higher, the enjoyment level is decreasing, because there's some teachers, not all of them. Next slide, please. The following set of teachers. Adding to this, we found that 1 out of 4 people just like the U.S. education system. Just like the U.S. education system. So, next slide, please. But we've also found that we also found that some of the teachers are facing some problems, such as lower pay, an unsafe environment, handling kids' emotions, and complaints from parents who are complaining about the outdated curriculum. The solution that we are coming up with is to take a test-based curriculum test, being that the teachers can review it and see, okay, is this in the correct order? Is this difficulty enough for my students? Is this a well-written test? Is this test able to give the students a proper education? We also, in this way, this can also help better the mental mind of the students. Adding to this, we hope to get higher pay, a safer environment, both mental and physical health for the teachers, and we also hope to start a platform so that teachers can express their opinions on a certain curriculum, whether it be good or bad, so that when a new education system is started, they can see, okay, this curriculum is much more useful than the other curriculums as presented.
The paper I gave you is an example of the tests that we might do. What would the impact be? Not only would there be harder workers, better and stronger bonds between a teacher and a student, a brighter future, more skills and memories from school, a better environment, and smarter decisions. What else? A child has five or more areas areas where they build themselves. When one area is affected either mentally or physically, it can build up and damage other areas. You might as well be changing the path for a child. Next slide. Our female role model was Jill Biden, who in August 2022 asked the Biden administration to come up with 3 points plan to address teacher shortages. The first one was to find new people to hire. The second one was to support teachers financially in training. The third one was to pay higher salaries. The Biden administration is working to fill teacher shortages. Why? She's also a teacher and will lead the White House talk on teaching challenges. She started discussing this on August 31st, 2022.